One of those painfully pleasant experiences I have encountered many times in my life is feeling both my heart sinking and my stomach turning all at the same time. The gut-wrenching feeling that sends you through time with an iron grasp you cannot shake. Nostalgia. I wanted to return to this topic really on the note of introducing an idea I have regarding aspects of nostalgia that I feel makes sense to me logically from hearing about other people's experiences from older age groups and comparing them to my own. One of the main ideas I feel is the most prevalent to me is that there are different stages to nostalgia. I feel that throughout your life you will relive your memories in different ways depending on how old you are, how wise or mature you have become, and your mental state as a whole. I'm not the oldest or wisest person I know, but I do feel I've entered what I perceive to be the first stage is nostalgia. That started around the age of 17 for me, and it looks back to my memories between ages 8 to 14. And amazingly, there's really no depth to the memories I have. A lot of the more early memories I recall that pull me into a nostalgic state are just waking up at certain times and seeing the daylight peek through the curtains of my room, living room, or wherever I happen to wake up. Similarly, I have some slightly later memories recalling the sunlight peering through school windows into a dark classroom or simply sunny days in the backyard. These memories make me feel very warm and helps me ground my mental state in a more homely or natural place. Something that feels safe and comfortable, and most importantly, reminds me of how a child feels in the presence of their parents. How I used to feel immortal, fearless, and confident in their presence, and it helps invigorate a carefree or happy-go-lucky attitude that I have since strayed from in the years that have passed. Later memories into the early teenage years, when I first got into YouTubers, streamers, playing games, and making friends to play games with, opens up this part of my mind that would fully transport me into a different place, where all worldly burdens seem to melt away. And though it's vague, these feelings that come from my memories, both early and more recent, often cross paths with each other and trade or combine all these emotions at once. An example being waking up at noon to catch a Syndicate stream back in the summer of 2014 and waiting for my friends to get up so we can play games together. These memories, just like the ones from my early to middle years in elementary school, both have this warmth that surrounds me when I think about where I was and how I absorbed the world around me. And I feel the older I get, the less likely those feelings are to occur from that era in my life. Speaking with my father and listening to how he talks about his childhood to early adult years, though seeing as he had a more tough life than I did, shows to me that once you reach a stage in your life where you have matured and you have accepted how life has and will be, you will look back to that era of your life at face value. Simple times when everything was easier and without the additional emotions that come with it. What really pointed this out to me is when I compared how I felt when hearing a song from the early 2010s as a 20-year-old and where my dad was around the same time the song was released. I pieced together that he wouldn't think back to when the song was released with the same depth I did, since for him, he was already 50 years old at this time, and feeling nostalgic as a 60-year-old now about your adult life doesn't hold the same weight as a young adult reminiscing about his childhood would. But you learn a surprising amount about someone's personality from listening to them talk, and even how they perceive where they are now from how they recall memories, and the tonality and emotion you can sense from how someone speaks on their memories brings to light how or even if they feel nostalgic towards them. And that's what I've gathered from talking with my father and many of my managers at work about their early life, is that when they speak on it, it sounds as an adult or someone with a lot of life experience would explain to someone. They don't sound like how my friends or I do when we speak about our memories. They take it at face value and give you a more straightforward interpretation of it, whereas when I describe my childhood, I try to give whoever I'm telling the same feelings I'm having through my word choice and metaphors to help pull you into my mental space so you can feel the warmth, carefree, happy-go-lucky, happy or sad, or whatever emotion I'm feeling, etc., that I feel when I think back to draw us closer. I don't really have much more on this topic to say other than what I have said. So I'm going to end this here, but I want to know if you guys feel the same. Since really you've just listened to me talk about it this entire time, I want to know if you guys think what I'm saying makes sense. Because of course it does to me, it's my own thoughts. I will address one more thing, and it's that I didn't really mention how you recall things later in life, but I really haven't had the chance to talk with someone about their memories and such recently. I can vaguely remember my grandpa talking about some of his memories, but from what I remember, it was more cut and dry than some of the people I've already talked to who are in the middle of their life. And I don't feel I have thought about it enough to share my opinion on it. Nonetheless, I hope to return to this topic in some years so I can see how I feel regarding it and hopefully practice my script writing some more, since this is one of my first and is a test to see how much easier video essays can be, since I love their concept and I love talking about ideas I have or topics I'm knowledgeable of, yet I do feel I ramble unless I have a script or an outline, hence the practice and whole motive of this video. And you can tell I wrote a script for my first nostalgic video that I made 3 years ago, roughly around this same time of the year as well. Though I just sound so bad, my voice is terrible, but hopefully this time around it comes off a little bit better and isn't as, forced as the other one felt. Though I hit a lot of points that I kind of went back over in this video, which I was surprised about, but I don't need to go on a ramble about that since this part is actually unscripted. So I'm gonna leave it at that, though I hope to return to this in the future with more thoughts and ideas about nostalgia. It's a topic I love and I always return to because it always leaves me in a depressed state for so long. I often think about it. So back to scripted stuff. Thank you for watching or listening, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.